apa. Go.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Najihah, wakil daripada kumpulan A1K. Bersama dengan ahli kumpulan saya, Ungku Zahra dan Mohamad Aliff Mohamad Zain akan bentang pasal kita orang punya testing. So, untuk projek kami memilih untuk buat library management system. So, library management system ni ialah dia digunakan untuk kita simpan rekod student yang meminjam buku daripada library. Dekat sini ada dua user, iaitu admin dengan user ataupun customer. Ini ialah structure chat untuk kita orang punya kumpulan. So, kita orang ada admin dan user. Untuk admin, kita orang admin boleh, untuk user boleh issue book, boleh return book, dia orang boleh make payment, and payment ni ialah untuk late fund fee, maksudnya buku-buku yang dah lambat untuk dihantar, so ada bayaran. Inilah senarai kita orang punya test requirement. So test requirement kita orang dibahagikan kepada dua ikut user. So ada admin module dengan user module. Untuk admin module ada 12 test functional requirement, and untuk user module ada 14. Okay. So summary untuk test cases. Untuk test cases kami ada 34. And kami menggunakan 3 test design, iaitu equivalence partitioning untuk black box, black box state transition diagram, and untuk white box kami memilih untuk menggunakan statement statement coverage. Untuk traceability matrix dekat sini, kebanyakan test requirement kami ada satu test case ID. Untuk LMS 1 ada satu test case, LMS 2 ada satu test case, sampai LMS 10 semua sekali ada, setiap satu test requirement ada satu test case. And then untuk state transition ada beberapa traceability matrix, ada beberapa test requirement yang ada lebih daripada satu test case. Contohnya LMS 14 iaitu login, LMS 16 iaitu register, and LMS 17 which is check registration status, and LMS 19 untuk search book. Yang selebihnya pun ada satu saja test case bagi setiap functional requirement. So untuk test cases, bagi test design yang pertama ialah black box testing untuk equivalence partitioning. Sebagai contoh, saya akan ambil LMS 2 which is to test that the system shows an error message if the username or password provided does not match or empty during login. So first kali, test scenario ada 3, which is enter 0 characters in username field. Yang kedua, enter 1 to 15 characters in username field. And test scenario yang ketiga ialah enter 15 above characters in username field. So ada 3 partition. And dekat dalam equivalence partitioning ni, ada 2 invalid partition and 1 valid partition. Betul kan? Macam tu kan?
Betul. Baik.
Okay, so expected outcome dia, bagi test scenario yang pertama, system should not accept sebab dia invalid. Bagi test case kedua, system should accept sebab dia ialah valid coverage. And bagi test scenario yang ketiga, system will not accept sebab dia invalid coverage juga. So ini ialah test cases, senarai test cases. So yang pertama, consider username length less than 1. Test case yang kedua, consider username of length exactly 1. Yang ketiga, consider username of length between 2 and 14. Test case yang keempat, consider password of length exactly 15 ataupun more than 15 bagi test case yang kelima. And then dekat sini juga ada test scenario yang keempat, kelima dan keenam. Enter 0 characters in password field. enter 6 to 16 characters in password field and enter 16 and above characters in password field. Okay. So sekarang ni, so enter 1 to 16 characters in password field. Kali ni untuk password. Lepas tu enter 16 and above characters in password field. So test case yang keempat, test scenario yang keempat ialah invalid. Test case yang kelima ialah valid. Bagi test case keenam pun invalid juga. So ada dua invalid coverage and satu valid coverage. Satu valid partition. Jadi untuk test, bagi test senario yang keempat, kami masukkan no data. Untuk test senario yang kelima, kami masukkan password. 13 characters, 2 special characters and 2 uppercases. And untuk test case ke-6, kami masukkan 18 characters, 4 special and 3 uppercase. Jadi, expected outcome ialah bagi test case keempat ialah invalid, jadi system should not accept. Test case yang kelima, system should accept. And test case ke-6, system should not accept. Ini adalah use case untuk LMS 2. So nama use case testing ialah show error message in login. Use case testing description to test that the system shows an error message if the username or password provided does not match or empty during login. So actor bagi use case ni ialah admin. And precondition ni ialah username does not exist or wrong password input. So for the basic flow, first kali admin perlu enter the login page and then they will provide wrong username and password. And then admin will click login button after providing all the information needed, and then system begin to validate the information. Then the system will give pop-up message of error. Alternate flow dia ialah admin can type in a new username and password or choose to cancel the operation. This is our functional specification. So our test objective to test that the system shows an error message if the username or password provided does not match or empty during login. And this test case is prepared by Aliff. So for the step, first kali, admin enter login page and then admin provide wrong username and password and then admin click login after providing all the information needed. For the data, for first step, tak ada data. For second step is the wrong username and password. And then for the third step, also no data. Our expected result is at the end, the error message pop up and for wrong username or password. Okay, so for second test design is test, we choose a state transition for black box, second black box test design. For example, ambil yang LMS 016 to test that the system shows error message kalau registration or credential is empty or invalid. So initial state dia ialah start, state yang ada dekat dalam state transition diagram dia macam ni. Ada start and then register and then unsuccessful registration and then end. For each process ada credential receive and validated fail credentials. So first kali initial state dia ialah start and then pergi ke register and the transition is credential receive. The transition description is that admin click on the register button and then we'll provide test data. So dekat sini empty. Dekat sini test data dia ialah username, course, gender, date of birth, email and password. And then there's no expected result. And then go to the next state. Initial state is register and then pergi ke next state which is successful registration. The transition dia ialah validate or fail. Sebab transition description credential is incorrect or empty. Dekat sini tak ada test data but there's an expected result of account not created and error message being shown. And then the next state is unsuccessful registration to end. And then the transition is that the process ended. There's no transition description or any test data and the expected result is that the process ended. So for the use case testing, nama use case testing ni ialah user unsuccessful register. The test ID is SD6. Use case name, user unsuccessful register. The description is that to test the system to allow to show error when user registration credential is incorrect or empty. So actor bagi use case ni ialah user ataupun student, and the precondition ialah user account must not exist. Basic flow dia ialah first kali actor akan click on register button, and then the system validates the register credential and show error message. The post condition is that the error message is shown, and the alternate flow is that valid credential causes different output lah. And then for the test case, there's two test cases. So for the first test cases ialah SD6.1. The test objective is to test the system to show error when user registration credential is incorrect. So test data. So for first step, actor click on register button. So dekat sini the data is incorrect data. Test SBV, FTMK, mail, password, and then there's no expected result. And then the second step is that the system validates the register credential, no data included. And then the system shows error message, which will cause the expected result of error message is shown. So for the actual result, the form filled with user input data, but once click register button, system will pop up warning message from database. And then finally, the error message is shown. For the second test case, the test case number is 6.2. This is made by Nurnajihah. The test objective is to test the system to show error when user registration credential is empty. So this time there's no data. So actor click on register button, and then the system validates the register credential, and then it will show error message. Sorry. Okay, and then for the actual result, the alert message, please fill out this field, pop up on the text field that is empty, which is all of it. And then the error message, and then there's no error message shown. For the third test design, which is the white box, we choose statement coverage. So for an example, LMS 025, to test that the system allows user to view payment report. So first kali admin perform, which is the user, the student click on payment history, and then it will check the user payment history. If the history is available or it's not empty, then it will display payment history. Kalau tak, it will just end. So from this kita boleh dapat one statement coverage, which is from the admin perform sampai end. Okay. Use case testing dia view payment, and nama use case view payment. The description is to test that the system allows user to view payment report. The actor is user or student. Precondition dia, user account must be logged in and user must have made payment before. Maksudnya kalau tak ada payment, and it will just return empty lah. For the basic flow, user click on payment history at profile, and then the system begins to process payment data by retrieving the payment details such as type, date, method, and fees from the database. The post condition, payment history is successfully processed, and for the alternate flow, if there's no payment history, then the system will reject the process and the payment data fail to be loaded to the system. For view payment, there's only one test case. This one is prepared by Shirin. The test case number is TC9. Its objective is to test that the system allows user to view payment report. So, yang pertama, user will click on the view payment button. There's no data involved, and expected result is that the view payment page will pop up. And then users search for type, method, date, pay or fees. And then for the data ada type, lost, method, cash, date of payment 9 December, fees RM200 and status complete. The expected result is payment history is shown. The actual result is that it will show the match result according to the text field input. For chapter 4, testing using tools. For this part, we actually use a software testing tools called W3C CSS Validation Service. Tools ni dia akan detect CSS yang digunakan dekat dalam kita punya project, and then dia akan check whether CSS tu ialah optimize ataupun CSS tu boleh improve lagi. Dia juga akan bagi warning, and then dia akan provide all the guide notes so that they will have another idea on how to write the CSS. So for the testing result, after testing the project, there is a few result that will be shown lah. So this result shows that there is no error, tak ada error dekat CSS project. It's green. And then for this part, yang merah ni semua ialah codes yang tak suitable and boleh di-optimize lagi for better programming practice. And then yang ni ialah a report to show that the valid CSS dekat mana yang okay, yang mana yang tak okay. So untuk test exchange report, kami test untuk kumpulan A1F, which the members are Tan Wei Yin and Lim Zingyi. So for measurable and testable requirement, we give them 4 out of 5. For non-functional requirement, and we give them 4 as well. And for the test case, we give them 4 also because they cover all of the inputs of the system. Overall is an average of 4 or 5. Okay, so and then this is the report from other group testing of our project. So group A10 yang test kita orang punya system, their team includes Yuan Kang, Shan Hui and Guijian. And then their feedbacks are they think that the test document provided can be improved by doing a discussion and presenting it in a single pattern. And some of their comments are they think that other group also did a great job. Our group also did a great job. Maybe they can do discussion through Microsoft Teams to get everyone idea and make sure that nobody is left behind. Okay, so for our final chapter, which is test summary report. So a total of 34 test cases have been tested, which covers 26 functional test requirement, and the result of all test cases are successful. So for the summary of assessment, the test case created is 34, each 10 for equivalent partitioning, 14 for state transition testing and 10 for statement coverage. And then for the executed part, every test cases is executed and every test cases passed. There's no failed test cases and there's no test cases that are not yet run lah. And then for the recommendation, administrator boleh control for the whole system. Maksudnya stop the borrowing process of the maintenance issue. Lepas tu for group contribution, so Aliff did our equivalence partitioning and he did around 10 test cases, and Shirin did the statement coverage for our testing, which includes 10 test cases, and I did state transition testing with 14 test cases. So that is how we contribute to this project.
Okey, untuk Grup contribution yang lain, bahagian testing tools dibuat oleh Nurnajihah dan Shirin. Bahagian tester exchange group project pula dibuat oleh Aliff dan juga Shirin. Dan bahagian last kali untuk segala pengakhiran projek dan juga projek compiler dibuat oleh Nurnajihah.
So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.